Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everybody. What are you doing today then, Dick One?
We're reading about the Shy Guy. If you see his face, he will literally kill you. Okay,
Share the screen.
Can you see it? Yeah, okay. So, SCP-096. There was a movie made about this guy recently. SCP-096 is to be contained in a cell, a 5 by 5 by 5 meter airtight steel cube at all times. Weekly checks for any cracks or holes are mandatory. There are to be absolutely no video surveillance or optical tools of any kind inside SCP-096's cell. Security personnel will use pre-installed pressure sensors and laser detectors to ensure 096's presence inside the cell. Any and all photos, videos, or recordings of 096's likeness are strictly forbidden without approval from Dr. and 05. 096 is a humanoid creature measuring approximately 2.3 meters in height. Subject shows very little muscle mass, with preliminary analysis of body mass suggesting mild malnutrition. Arms are grossly out of proportion with the rest of the subject's bodies, with an approximate length of 1.5 meters each. Skin is mostly devoid of pigmentation, with no sign of any body hair. 096's jaw can open to 4 times the normal of an average human. Other facial features remain similar to an average human, with the exception of the eyes, which are also devoid of pigmentation. It is not yet known whether SCP-096 is blind or not. It shows no sign of any higher brain function and is not considered to be sapient. 096 is normally extremely docile, with pressure sensors inside its cell indicating it spends most of the day pacing by the eastern wall. However, when someone views 096's face, whether it be directly, via video recording, or even a photograph, it will enter a stage of considerable emotional distress. 096 will cover its face with its hands and begin screaming, crying, and babbling incoherently. Approximately 1 to 2 minutes after the first viewing, 096 will begin running to the person who viewed its face, who will from this point on be referred to 096-1. Documented speeds have varied from 35 kilometers to kilometers, and seems to depend on distance from 096-1. At this point, no known material or method can impede 096's progress. The actual position of 096-1 does not seem to affect its response. It seems to have an innate sense of 096-1's location. Note, this reaction does not occur when viewing artistic depictions. Upon arriving at 096-1's location, SCP-096 will proceed to kill and 096-1. Sorry, I had to make it long because I'm pretty sure I know what he does. 100% of cases are left with no traces of 096-1. 096 will then sit down for several minutes before regaining its composure and becoming docile once again. It will then attempt to make its way back to its natural habitat. Due to the possibility of a mass chain reaction, including breach of Foundation secrecy and large civilian loss of life, retrieval of the subject should be considered alpha priority. Dr. has also petitioned for immediate termination of 096. Orders awaiting approval. Termination order has been approved and is being carried out by Dr. on.
Well done. This is sounding really good so far.
Do you want to hear the interview?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, it didn't. I don't think the. Oh, of course he doesn't talk. I was about to say I don't think the SP actually talks in this. Of course he doesn't. So we'll call this guy Captain Smith, and we'll call the other guy Dr. Bright. Okay. I'm saying Captain Smith because your name, and Dr. Bright is an actual doctor in the SCP Foundation.
Okay.
It always sucks ass to get initial retrieval duty. You have no idea what the damn thing is capable of besides what jacked up information the field techies can scrape up, and you're lucky if they even tell you the whole story. They told us to bag and tag, didn't tell us jack shit about not looking at the damn thing. Could you describe the mission, please? Yeah, sorry. We had 2 choppers. One with my team and one backup with Zulu 9B. And Dr. spotted the target about 2 clicks north of our patrol path. I'm guessing he wasn't facing our direction, else we would have been taking us out then and there. Your report says SCP-096 didn't react to the cold. It was negative Celsius. Actually, it was negative, and yes, it was butt naked and didn't do much as a shiver. Anyway, we landed, approached the target, and Corporal got ready to bag it. That's when Dr. called. I turned to answer it, and that's what saved me. The target must have turned, and my whole squad saw it. That's when SCP-096 entered an agitated emotional state. Yep. Interview now pauses for a second before continuing. Sorry, got the willies for a second. That's all right. Yeah, well, I never saw its face, but my squad did, and they paid for it up the ass. Could you describe a little more, please? Yeah. It started screaming at us and crying. Not animal roaring, though. It sounded exactly like a person. Really fucking creepy. We started firing, and then it picked up Corporal and ripped off his leg. God, he was screaming for our help. Fuck. Anyway, he was blowing chunks out of it, round after round. Didn't do jack shit. I almost lost it when it started him. That's when you ordered the use of AT-4 HEDT launcher. Yeah, an anti-tank gun. Started carrying it ever since SCP got loose. I've seen those tear through tanks like tissue paper. Did the same thing to the target. There was significant damage to 096. It didn't even fucking flinch. He kept tearing apart my squad, but half of its torso was gone. But it was taking damage? If it wasn't showing it. It must have lost all of its organs, all its blood, but it didn't acknowledge any of it. Its bone structure wasn't hurt at all, though it kept tearing my squad apart. So no actual structural damage. How many rounds would you say you fired at 096? At the least, 1,000. Our door gunner kept his GAU-19 on it for at least 20 seconds. 20 fucking seconds. That's 650 caliber rounds pumped into the thing. Might as well have been spitting at it. This is when Zulu 9B arrived. Yeah, my squad was gone. Zulu 9B managed to get the bag over its head, and it just sat down. We got into the chopper, got it here, and I don't know how I never saw its face. Maybe God or Buddha or whoever thought I could live. Jackass. We have obtained an artist's depiction of SCP-096's face. Would you like to view it? You know, after hearing that thing scream and the screams of my men, I don't think I want to put a face to what I heard. No. What did you say?
Nothing.
Oh, I thought you said something.
I didn't say that.
All right. I believe we are done here. Thank you, Captain. Let this be on record that I am formally requesting SCP-096 be terminated as soon as possible. Okay, that's everything we have on 096.
That sounded really good. I like that. I liked that, you know.
He's either the first or second most popular SCP.
I like that. I might call it whatever the SCP name of it. Might have put on the title, but that was good. Wow. That some of it didn't make sense to me, but most of it did. I enjoyed that.
Like what didn't make sense?
You were shooting at it, most probably lost all its organs and all its blood, but it didn't die.
Okay. Best way to put this: never trust anything in SCP is mortal. Like Cain from Cain and Abel, he's an SCP. Fucking God is an SCP. There's a lizard that is unkillable. They have hit it with nukes and it didn't die. Like, never trust that things in SCP can be killed.
Okay. That was a really good story. But that's the end of the story, Deacon. Do you know what that means?
I forgot what you were gonna say.
That does it for this video. Do you want to say anything before I end the video?
Recommend outros for me. Okay, bye.
That does it for this video. Thank you all so very much for watching. And as Carlos always used to love me saying, thanks for watching. And as always, goodbye.